Hey, it's Josh Mancuso, and you're listening to the No Playbook podcast. I could put my radio voice on more if you want. Like, hey, you're listening to.
Yeah. Hey, so truth be told, right up top, I'll go ahead and let you know, this is probably my favorite interview that I've done so far on this podcast. If it's your first time checking out the show, it's called No Playbook, and I usually interview the players, coaches, and experts that help to make sports and fitness such an important part of life here in the Southeast. Joshua Dobbs has been on an episode, several current Tennessee athletes, a few other NFL players too, Major League pitchers, Monica Abbott, one of the best softball players of all time. She's even been on. Also, lots of area high school standout athletes that are going D1. But today, I've got Josh Mancuso on the show. You probably know Josh as the guy who makes those funny mascot videos that you'll see on social media. He's a comedian who loves sports and kind of played some college football. He joins me on the show as we talk about comedy, sports, Saved by the Bell. He officially changes his position on the whole flat earth theory. It's a fun time. We have a lot of fun. We learned we have a lot in common as well. You know what? Completely unrelated note, if you wouldn't mind, leave me a comment. Just somehow communicate to me what is not a weird way to ask a dude to be your best friend. Completely unrelated, I swear. I'll get to that right after this. Sit tight.
RecruitMe puts the recruiting process in your hands. Most student athletes wait for college coaches to discover them, but coaches are busy and don't always have the time to find them. RecruitMe allows you to build an online profile to share directly with college coaches and is designed to help you enter all of the information coaches want to see. Your stats, your highlight videos, your academic information, your social links, and more. Plus, our team is here to make sure that your profile stands out with personalized suggestions. With over 25,000 coaches in our database, our premium plan gives you access to D1, D2, D3, and NAIA coaches across the country, and more importantly, gives them access to you. Enter your schedule of games and tournaments to let coaches know when and where you're playing so they can come out and watch you shine. Then communicate with interested coaches via our chat feature. When it comes to recruiting, don't make coaches research you. Do the work for them. Get started today at the RecruitMe app, on the web, and in the app stores.
At D1 Training, what we do is in our name. Our D1 athletes become D1 athletes. Whether it's Los Angeles Angels pitcher Ben Joyce, high school soccer national MVP Brindley Murphy, or first-round NFL draft pick Cole Strange, we help all athletes reach their full potential. Five-star training system comes straight from D1 strength and conditioning programs, and D1 has trained over 2,000 professional athletes. Many of them started as young as 7 years old. Check out D1Training.com to learn more about their facilities in Hardin Valley and Sevierville, and coming very soon to Maryville and the Tri-Cities.
What's going on?
I like that you're representing Emory and Henry.
Yeah, the old alma mater here.
Yeah, you played ball there, right?
Well, that's a big statement. I went there to play ball, but it didn't. I never actually stepped foot in a game. So,
practice?
Yeah, lots of practice. I got hurt at the beginning of my sophomore year, so I didn't play. Yeah.
Well, I'm looking behind Jesse, the old Crow Medicine show. I just saw your post about that new guy. What's his name with the big red beard?
Yeah, I love that guy. Yeah.
So, Rogan is who first talked about it that I heard. I was like, let me check this guy out.
Yeah.
It's outstanding because he doesn't look like what he sounds like at all.
No, he's just a good old boy, and he's just kind of got lightning in a bottle here with this song, and people are all over it. So yeah, it's good for him, man. It's cool to see people like that succeed.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to ask, did you ever watch Saved by the Bell?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Are you familiar with the Mancuso character?
No, really? There's a Mancuso character?
There's a character named Mancuso. I asked my wife this morning, I said, I've got Josh Mancuso on the show today. And I said, when you hear that name, what do you think? And she said, Saved by the Bell. That's the main reason I picked her. It's a super random character. It's referenced maybe twice.
Yeah.
When they're at a dance, Belding, it's like when he goes up to, there's a couple that's dancing too closely. And he's like, hey, you and Mancuso, show me some air, that kind of thing.
No way, man. I did not realize that.
But what's also a fun connection is very early, like back when it was like Good Morning Miss Bliss days. Um,
Okay. Yeah.
there was the character named Milo.
My
Milo was kind of a janitor, I guess, but he would reference another janitor that you never saw, just one of his coworkers whose name was Shorty Beeman.
right.
So
Short
that's been
Beamer.
my
That's
yeah,
there
that's
you
what I
go.
wanted. Yeah, but
That's
with
awesome, man.
our
I'm
same
gone a lot, and so I just got back a couple days ago. So
that's a super segue into getting started as we're here
yeah,
with uh, former teen idol and comic genius Josh Mancuso. You're just getting back from Oklahoma, right?
yeah. Just get back from Oklahoma. I've been there. I was there for 3 days making some content. Are we live? Like, are you? Is this for the
Yeah.
podcast? Or are we just chatting? Okay. We're I don't know what was going on. Yeah, I just got back from Oklahoma. It was awesome. I was out there making some content, some videos with their football team and with their Roughnecks, like the schooner team that does the pony with the schooner wagon. So like I did some funny stuff with them, um, like where they're kind of showing me the ropes and like I'm kind of applying like I want to be on a roughneck on the schooner team, and so that was cool. And then I did with the football team, I did the running backs. So we did some drills like Coach DeMarco Murray, former
Oh yeah.
Oklahoma running back and NFL running back. Yeah, he's the running backs coach, and I did some drills, and they put me through. They made fun of me basically, and so that was that. So yeah, good time.
How'd you get connected with? Did you reach out to them or other way around?
Yeah, we reached out to them. I feel like most of like a lot of the schools I think know who I am at this point. And so my assistant Sarah, she kind of started hitting up different schools that we thought might be interested, and they were one of the ones that said, "Yeah, let's do it." And so a few weeks later, I'm on a plane and I'm going to Norman, Oklahoma. So I got other schools too that we've been talking to, a bunch of schools. Just a matter of if and when we're able to work it out. But I liked Oklahoma, man. It's flat out there. I live in East Tennessee in the hills, so it's flat, which made the sunrise pretty cool. I will say that was pretty awesome. But other
Yeah.
than that, yeah, very
Future
hot.
future SEC rival Oklahoma, that is.
That's right. Future soon to be SEC rival. So I got some Tennessee fans hating on me for going out there and wearing the Oklahoma gear. But hey, do what you gotta do. And I got no
Yeah.
beef with Oklahoma, man. I love Oklahoma. I mean, I had a great school, great program. They win a lot. I mean, they got
Mhm.
Heisman. I was looking at their Heisman Trophy statues outside the stadium. I mean, Kyler Murray and Baker Mayfield. Who else? Jason
I mean, we
White.
got yeah, we got Josh Heupel from there, so
Heupel is from Oklahoma. That's right. So boom.
that's exactly. So that's I think that's enough connection. And I like a team that beats Texas regularly.
Yes, yes. I also like that. We did some horns down while we were there.
Right on.
Yeah.
Um, so now stand-up comedy. We'll tie this into sports. This is mostly a sports podcast in a little bit, but
Yeah.
I love comedy. So I'm really excited to talk to you. I just want to hear like, are you going to be a storyteller guy like Mulaney? Are you like a Hedberg joke teller? Like, what is your style?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah. I like John Mulaney. He's very funny. I'm definitely not like a Mitch Hedberg kind of guy, kind of the random, just the way he looked at the world was so interesting and so funny to listen to him talk. And I would say, a lot of people compare me to Nate Bargatze, right? So they say I sound like him, I look like him. And he and I've met. We did a video together, and so I think that our styles are similar in just the way that we think of comedy and the way that we think of life and things like that. So I think it's very similar to him, but I'm a little more animated. He's pretty low key. He's very and that's his thing. Very dry, very a lot of excitement, and that's what makes him so funny. So I'm a little more active on stage. So but somewhere between Nate Bargatze and Jim Gaffigan, he's influenced my comedy as well. I probably wouldn't know it by listening to me, but he's one that I like a lot. So I don't know, maybe somewhere in there. You'll have to tell me when after you come to a show. You have to tell me who I'm.
Well, both clean comics you referenced.
Yeah, I'm a
Those are both clean guys.
clean comedian. Yeah, I mean, I don't shower anything like that, but I mean clean in terms of like, what comes out of my mouth. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure Gaffigan doesn't either.
no, he's anti-showering. Anti-shower.
I took my kids to see Gaffigan, probably younger than I should have taken them, but still they love it. They reference a Bargatze bit or two with me a lot, like especially talking about, when they asked, do you want to cut the cord? And he's like, is it gonna be cheaper? Because I don't want to if it's not gonna be cheaper. Stuff like that. There's, plenty of his jokes that I share with my kids. By the way, so also you're a dad of 3. I'm a dad of 3.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And I have a vasectomy too.
Boom, the big V. Do you have all girls though, like I do, or do you have a boy?
3 boys.
3 boys. We are like opposite. We're like right there, man.
Right. Yeah. It's but still it's I mean the amount of testosterone in my home is actually we reference when he talks about a cat jumping on top of the refrigerator. He's like, that's like if I jumped on top of a school bus.
Right.
And there's things in my home all the time that we reference like that. Like, I think you might be able to make it.
Yeah, that's right. Just give it a try. You never know.
I'd imagine you've got some funny stuff going on with the three girls. Are they all pretty young?
My oldest is 14. She just started high school, which is shocking and weird. And I'm not old enough to have a high schooler. So that's, and then I've got a middle schooler and then I've got a second grader. All girls. They're awesome. They provide lots of content for me in my jokes. They're not crazy about me, referencing them, directly, especially anything like recently, but I can, there's a few things I'm allowed to go into, but they put a lid on me for some stuff. So.
Yeah. See, I would love, you would have the opportunity for, instead of, one day a suitor for your oldest coming over, and instead of, flexing your bicep, one day you can wear like the Randy mullet wig. And then the next day you're dressed, like you got the polo on, just throw him off with every visit.
I like that. He'll just think I'm crazy. Like I'm nuts. I don't know who I am. I'm a schizophrenic. Next, you never know. Tomorrow I might be Chuck Norris, buddy. So just watch out. Yeah, I think that's Randy. I mean, Randy, could be an intimidating dad, possibly. The mullet.
You think Randy smokes?
I think Randy dips. Yeah, Randy's all about some skull, maybe some Red Man chew. Yeah.
He does not do the pouches.
No,
for dip.
No. That's for pansies. He does the real stuff. I mean, he gets it all in his teeth, and it's like, it's legit. And he's spitting. Right. Yeah, it's only the good stuff. Yeah, Copenhagen.
Yeah, baby. Yeah. Oh, of course. Yeah, that's the best. Not with a flavor, not some wimpy, wintergreen or something.
Just straight tobacco, skull Copenhagen, whatever. Straight in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about some great comedians and sports tie, I wanted to tell you there's a show that I listened to for a while. It was Julian Edelman and Sam Morril. Do you know Sam Morril?
I don't think so.
He's kind of in the like Bert Kreischer, Mark Norman, Joe List, Ari Shaffir, that kind of clan. But so it's a comedian and Julian Edelman, and they're talking about it's called Games with Names, and they had Peyton on, they had Eli on, and they'll talk specifically about a particular great game. And of course, they've got the comedic element as well. But that's a funny show.
That's good. I'd like to see that. No, I've not seen that. I like Julian Edelman a lot. He's a funny guy. I remember that clip of him yelling at Tom Brady about him being too old. You're too old, to be this good, I guess. That was a great clip of him. But yeah, what a guy with some serious clutch catches to his name. I mean, jeez.
Yeah, no question. So have you ever, I know you've done a little bit of, I don't want to say touring, I guess, yet, but you've definitely done some live shows. Have those gone the way you were hoping?
Yeah. They have, I didn't really necessarily set out to say, all right, I'm gonna jump into this because I want to be a stand-up comedian or I want to do live shows. But I always knew it could be a possibility. I always wanted to maybe play with it and see if it's something that I really enjoyed. I'd done stand up before a few years ago, just a handful of times. And, but my first live show that was billed as like me, Josh Mancuso live, my name on the title, I did it in my hometown, and, it sold out. It was great. A lot of fun, good reception, jokes were well received. And I walked away from it thinking, all right, I can do this. It was like that confidence booster that I needed. So yeah, now lots of live. Now it's like all of a sudden I'm getting calls all the time to come do live comedy shows, whether it's for like a corporate event or an organization of some kind. I'm not sure when is this going to air?
Probably sometime next week.
Okay. Yeah. By then we will have announced, at that point, doing a live show in Knoxville, Tennessee, the night before, the South Carolina game. It's going to be huge. And,
is that going to be at Dick's?
It's going to be at the Bijou Theater.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Well, look at you. That's going to be a doozy.
It's going to be a doozy. And it's not just me. I got our old guy, Thomas Edwards, that wrote the song Running Through the T.
Yeah, he's a good buddy.
But Thomas, really, yeah, he's coming too. He's doing like a 30-minute opening music set before the comedy starts. So, which
normally when you get Thomas, you get Joshua Dobbs as well.
I know. And right now Dobbs, he's playing in the NFL. He's got to do some kind of NFL thing.
Priorities.
Golly, honestly, he ought to be there for Thomas, I think, and for me. But
yeah. So Josh did this podcast recently, and he had a pretty funny clip where I asked him, which VFL would you take to space with you? And he told a story about how Jalen Reeves-Maben is still passionately a flat earther. And he talked about how he really wants to take him to space just to prove him wrong.
Just to be like, look, I told you it's round. All right.
That's a ball. Yeah.
I got to bring you all the way to space just to show you that the Earth is a ball. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It would be awesome if the Earth was flat. Like, how cool would that be, though? But all of a sudden we thought it was round, and we're like, wow, this thing has like an edge. We could just go right off of it. Like, wouldn't that be wild?
Well, the theory is that I guess the poles are really like I know nothing about nothing, Josh, but I think they believe it's almost like a wall, like in Game of Thrones.
Okay. Yeah.
So that could be cool. Try to summit that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty awesome. Yeah. I wish it was flat. You know what? I'm just going to buy into it. I'm just going to say it right here. I'm a flat earther.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Maybe not necessarily that you believe it or that you're hoping.
Yeah, no, I believe it now. That's all it takes for me to change my beliefs is a quick podcast joke, and all of a sudden I'm on another ship. Yeah.
Got it. Hey, you mentioned your hometown. That's when your first show was. So I'm spending a lot more time there so I work with D1 training. We're about to open one in the old reel to reel.
That's what I heard, man. That's awesome.
So do you, like everybody else, have like nostalgic memories of this place?
Oh, reel to reel theater. Absolutely. Saw a lot of movies there. I think I made out with my girlfriend for the first time there. So a lot of good memories for me. I'm not sure about her. She probably looks back on it with disdain, but I mean, for me, it was a great time. Reel to reel, a lot of good movies, a lot of good candy. A lot of good, people, smoking cigarettes in high school in the alley next door. I mean, yeah, that was the stuff.
So that's where, with you talking about that with your girlfriend, that is that nervous energy as a kid of when you think like, oh my God, I got to hold her hand. Mm-hmm. Got to do it by the end of this movie, but you get so nervous and you got to psych yourself out.
Yeah.
And before you know it, Home Alone 2 is over.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, when you're young, when you're young like that, you're in school and you're like at the movies with your girlfriend and you've got 2 hours. It takes you 2 hours to work up the energy and like the confidence to be like, I was just gonna put my arm around, because what if she's like, what are you doing? You're like, nothing. No, I was just stretching. What are you doing?
What are you doing?
What are you doing? Watching the movie like you're supposed to? I spent, 2 hours not even paying attention to what's on there, just thinking like, when should we hold hands? When do we put the arm around? You just, I'd get nervous just thinking about it right now.
Yeah. I know you mentioned that with your girlfriend. I was like, geez, like,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just glad for you that apparently, she didn't reject you, because
No, she didn't.
I've certainly been rejected.
Yeah, she's not my current wife now. That was so just, I don't know where she is, what she's doing in the world. She's probably never going to listen to this or watch this. If she does, she's probably wishing she hadn't. But
Let's just list her Instagram handle, and we'll encourage people to at her.
Let's name names. Let's go.
Maybe not. Maybe after the show. But tell me
maybe my whole story was made up and I didn't even have a girlfriend in high school. I was a lonely kid, just in my room playing video games.
Yeah, that sounds fun too.
It does sound pretty fun, actually. I'd almost rather do that, I think.
Less anxiety inducing, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. But tell me another place to go, because I go to White Duck Taco more than I should.
Yeah.
I was there this week. I went to ETSU practice. That was pretty cool, but we're going to do some sponsorship with them. But I got to find a new place to go.
Yeah, there's some good places there in Johnson City, Tennessee. But White Duck Taco is high on my list, and Yeehaw Beer. I love going there. We go there pretty often. Second, though, I'm wondering why you didn't call me to go with you to this place that I love to go to. All right. I'll be waiting for your call. And then there's another place called One Sal. It's I would try to tell you what type of food it is, but I don't know. It's just good. We got some noodles happening in there. Maybe we got some Thai, not a Thai. See, I'm gonna step all over myself here and insult all kinds of ethnicities by trying to determine what type of food it is, but it's just really good. So One Sal, and it's just across the street from Yeehaw, and then right a couple doors down from One Sal is Label. Have you been to Label Restaurant?
I've not.
Yeah, very good. Like great vibe in there. Just vibing. Lots of vibing happening on. Yeah,
I'm always hunting a good vibe.
Yeah, always did a good vibe. They got burgers, they got whatever you want in there. It's good. And then across the street from that is also a place called Southern Craft Barbecue. So that's some good stuff. And all three of those are owned by the same restaurant group, and they make good stuff. So there you go. There's three you can check out, and you're welcome.
And all that's like half a mile from ETSU also.
It is. It's all right there. Yeah, it's all walking distance from White Duck. It's all like right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I would assume you're a Seinfeld fan.
Yeah.
Just because you're hilarious, and it's a hilarious show.
Right.
There is a show, or there's an episode where George sees George Wendt from Cheers, and he tries to suggest an idea for the show for Cheers. I wonder how often that happens, where people suggest a video. You ought to make this video.
That's a great reference coming from Seinfeld. That's really good. I like how you pull that in. Yes, makes me feel like Seinfeld and I are somehow on the same level. You're like, just like Seinfeld, you also, but that does happen quite a bit. Yeah, people are always, especially with my mascot videos, people are always like, have you done, Delaware State? Have you done, you should do, Oregon, you should do, all these schools. So yes, I get a lot of that. A lot of people who are like, I'm a huge fan. What would be funny if you did this? And I'm like, please tell me what I should do. No, I love hearing from people and what they love, because, I'm making videos for the people. Because if the people aren't watching, then I'm just a guy talking to myself. So I do listen to people's ideas, but yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah. But I will point out, because you were kind of, mentioning how you're not on Seinfeld level. Seinfeld, I mean, I can go check the stats. I don't think he had a very large Instagram following when he started.
You're right. And that's a great comparison that I'm going to use often as I'm promoting myself. And I'll share that with my managers, because, I mean, ultimately, I've gotten way more views on my videos than he ever got when he was starting out. So I didn't have a TV show, but I mean, I got him.
But I'm saying he got a TV show even without, I mean, he still probably had some Instagram viewers in 1991, but not as many.
Yeah. There was Instagram was still in the beta version then, I think. So he was an early adopter. So
you had to go to DOS.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, he was.
Type it in.
Now his MySpace page might have gotten me though.
I think he got me on that. Right. Now I bring that up to then mention, of
Mhm.
course, an idea that I suggested to Sarah
Oh,
as
good.
we
I'm
are
ready.
in fantasy football season.
Yes. Oh,
Um,
I love fantasy football. Yeah.
and I thought tell you what it was. I had just seen recently the episode that you did for Back to School,
Yeah.
and with me having three kids, and my wife is a teacher, it really hit close to home. I
Nice.
was like, man, something like that I could see for fantasy football. There's all the different players that are involved. I think that could be a funny video.
That would be a funny video. Absolutely. There's a lot of videos around fantasy football I think I could do, but that's a good one if you take that same kind of strategy as I did with the back to school. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I
As you're
love
like
that.
preparing, like there's the commissioner, but then there's also the guy that doesn't really pay attention that much.
Yeah. We listen, I was just in a text thread with the guys that I'm in a fantasy football group with, and you got the classic stereotypes right in there. The guy that's like gung ho, like, let's go. This is the most serious thing that we're going to do all year. To the guy that's like, I'm going to set my draft on auto. And everybody's like, no, and you got the guy who's, talking smack already. Yeah, so many good stereotypes coming out of there. They're all
Yeah.
true.
And if you do one live, there is always the guy that drafts somebody like 3 rounds too late. Like he's been gone for an hour.
Right. That's right. Oh no. And you got guys like me who will like draft Tennessee players just because they're Tennessee players. And you're like, did I just skip like,
Mm-hmm.
like the number, 4 wide receivers so that I could get Cedric Tillman? Yes, I did, and I
Yeah.
will. So, yeah,
He looked good last night, by the way.
he sure did. That guy's
Yeah.
a beast. Him and Jalen Hyatt they're gonna burn it up in the NFL. I do believe.
Heck yeah. Tillman's been on this podcast, by the way.
Has he? I
Um,
feel like I'm in such good company with all these former players and people that are way more athletic than me. Although, you know, you may have heard, you may have not have heard, but when I played football in high school, I was a wide receiver and I was an all conference honorable mention. So
at Science Hill.
I signed still. Yeah.
Heck yeah. I mean, that's
Honorable
why
mention. Mhm.
Emory and Henry they were just bet their whole program when you had that back injury, it just kind of folded.
It did. Yeah. I don't even know how they recovered from that, honestly. And when they heard about me and in high school, they were like, this guy's all conference honorable mention. He's 5'11". He's 155 pounds,
Mhm.
solid rock. And so they're like, we got to have him. So they called
Yeah.
me up and I was like, let's talk. I said, are you guys D1? They're like, no, we're D3. I said, cool. Do you have scholarships for athletes? They said, no. I said, great. Am I going to play right away? They're like, probably not. I was like, let's go. Like, I feel like this is a really good opportunity for me to go and shine. So, I went to Emory Henry at a very small school, and I redshirted my freshman year because I wasn't going to start. I started off really good. I was actually in the starting rotation early on, and then I started dropping passes, and they were like, "We don't like that." And I said, "That's probably smart." And then I redshirted, and then came back my sophomore year. Was actually going to get playing time my sophomore year. Hurt my back before the season started, and I was done. So basically a football legend. When you were talking about me, it's like comedian, actor, football legend. That's about
Mhm.
it.
But to be fair, did they make it like very clear? Did the coach make it clear that he wanted you as a receiver to not drop the passes?
He never really said that,
See,
honestly.
that's not on you.
I thank you so much. I'm glad somebody, Casey, sees my point of view on this because I
Right.
remember me dropping one and him yelling some expletives and throwing his clipboard on the ground. And I was like, well, dang, I wasn't sure what the play was. Was this a play where I catch it, or was this a play where
Mm-hmm.
I drop it and then we go back to do it again because we saw something we want to change? But
Right. Just miscommunication. That's what it is.
well, I've got an offensive coordinator's brain, and so I already knew what we were doing the next play. I was already one step ahead. It's just hard. They just don't get it. But
Maybe it's a hook and ladder in your mind.
it was. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted to do. But the guy wasn't there to catch it, and I was like, well, looks like it was a drop, but it was really
That's on him.
yeah. So thanks
Right.
for appreciate that.
You got it. So one last thing I ask everybody, tell me a great sports memory for you, either as a player or as a spectator.
Oh, what? First one that comes to mind. I got one. How about give you two? Can I give you two?
No. Yes, of course.
You're limited to. I got one as a player. So my senior year of high school, I had a great season, but then I, we played in our final game against let's see, William Blount High School, I believe.
I live in
And
Maryville.
do you? Yes.
Yeah.
We were at William Blount. It was towards the end of the third quarter. We were down 28-14. We just had a hard time getting the offense going. And I had during that game, I had dropped a pass and fumbled, which was rare. I didn't drop many. I never really fumbled, so it was not great. But then I caught like an 84-yard touchdown pass to like bring us within 7, and then that kind of ignited the comeback, and we ended up winning like by a couple touchdowns. It was pretty epic. So that's my greatest memory as a player. And then my greatest memory as a fan, though, was I was at the 98 Tennessee Arkansas game in Neyland with the Clint Sterner stumble and fumble. And that was, I mean, a lot of people were, but it was epic. It was because we were like, oh my gosh, this is this undefeated season. And you know, they got the ball back, and it's, you know, this has got to be it. People were leaving. And we hadn't left yet. We kind of stood up. We were kind of like standing there. We're in the upper deck. We were kind of like, I was in high school. And then that fumble happened, and we were like, no. And we sat back down, and the whole end happened. It was amazing. So all the people that left, you know, we were like, ha, you non-believers. So yeah, that was a pretty awesome electric night when we got that ball back, and then we just gave it to Travis Henry, and we just rammed it down their throats and scored. That place came just came unglued. It was pretty epic.
As I remember it, once we picked up the fumble, it was almost like there was no question we're winning this game. Like I didn't even remotely consider we could still lose.
No, absolutely. There's it was like we were in the zone. Truly, it was like we weren't going to fumble it. We weren't going to drop. Nothing was. I mean, they were deflated. Arkansas was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's like they could just see it coming, the impending doom, and we just marched down there and just like that was it. Yeah, it was awesome.
Well, tell folks how they can. They probably already follow you on social. How can they learn about your shows and to find out where you're going to be?
Yeah, they can call me directly at 423. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. The best place would be my website, joshmancuso.com. I've got my live events listed there, I believe. And then of course, all the social channels. Yeah. Instagram tends to be my big one, but I would love for people to subscribe on YouTube. We're trying to build up YouTube. I don't have near as many followers there as I do other places. So we'd love for people to go to YouTube, just search me and you'll see me. And,
is there's some any different content than what you'll see other places?
It's a lot of the same stuff. There's some longer form content on YouTube for me. There's some of the, the videos you see on Instagram are 90 seconds. Sometimes there's longer versions on YouTube. So you get, and there's some more behind the scenes stuff coming on YouTube as well, which will be exciting. So yeah, that's it. I'd love for people to come see me live. And if you're in a city that you want them to bring me there, just let me know. We'll make it happen.
All right, man. Well, wide receiver honorable mention for all conference comedy legend, Josh Mancuso. Thanks for coming, buddy.
Casey, thanks. You're the man. Appreciate you.